So a very warm welcome, sir, for connecting with us on Thoughts in Education College Delhi, where we are trying to bridging the gap of students and the top management of the colleges. So, sir, first of all, I would like to have your introduction. Can you please brief your introduction and brief your profile?
I'm Dr. Ashok Kumar, presently working as a principal, Markanda National College, Shahabad, Markanda. I did my education from Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra, graduation, post-graduation in English, and then MPhil from the same university. And after that, I went to Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages, Hyderabad, for doing a postgraduate diploma in teaching of English. And after that, I once again joined Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra for completing my PhD in English. I joined DAV College, Pehwa as a lecturer in 1988 and stayed there for 23 years and left that college in 2011 to join as principal at MLN College, Radhaur. Stayed there up to 2015 and joined the present college, that is Markanda National College, Shahabad, Markanda, in May 2015. And since then, I have been working here.
So it's a very long journey in education domain. So what are the key factors that keep you connected to this field?
Frankly speaking, I am a teacher by choice. I have a passion for teaching. In fact, I belong to a family of teachers. My father was a teacher in a university, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. And joining teaching at a very early age. I joined teaching at DAV College, Pehwa at the age of 21. And I have tried to keep connected with everything that is associated with teaching. Not only classroom teaching, even outside the classroom teaching, how to groom the students, how to keep them updated, how to keep my own self updated. And I would like to share it with you and with everyone that I associated with all the activities that are there in the education system. For example, I worked as an NSS program officer. I remained a controller of exam in my own college, DAV College, Pehwa. I was in charge magazine editor of the college magazine. I was working as NSS program officer. I was in charge cultural activities. And the highest point came when I was appointed coordinator of the NAC inspection. And it was in 2003 when NAC team visited DAV College, Pehwa, and I was the coordinator. And that was an enlightening experience. And that experience, how NAC guides you towards quality education, that has kept me going always. I've been associated with university bodies. I was member of University NSS advisory body. I was a member of Kurukshetra University Cultural Council, and then finally I became president of the Kurukshetra University Cultural Council. I am also a member of the Kurukshetra University Sports Council, member of the University Court, member of the University Academic Council, and all these activities, association with all these activities have always kept me going, and I have remained connected with all the things.
So you have been enjoying education journey, so it seems like that.
Oh, sure. I consider myself very lucky that I'm a teacher. I always thank God for that I was given the opportunity to become a teacher. Being among the students is blissful.
That's sure, sir. So, sir, as a principal, what is your leadership style? Like, how do you lead the students and your staff to a particular goal? Can you tell us about something?
As a principal or as a human being, I believe that we cannot perform better, we cannot perform well unless and until we have a good team with us. The basic principle that I work upon is that you must have a good team. And for a team, you must have planning and trust on that team. Wherever I have been working as a team member. I have always learned to work in a team, to adjust to the mindset of a team. And as a principal, also, I have created my teams. And once you plan well and try to execute that plan with the trust on your team members, I think you are able to perform well. Second essential thing as a principal, as an administrator, that I believe is transparency and honesty. Once you work with the transparency and you are fair to all the stakeholders, I don't think there are many problems in that. And these very things have kept me going during this journey.
Absolutely, sir. So, as a principal and an administrator, how do you strategize on your key plans? Like Marker National College offers so many kinds of courses, so there must be some flagship course, or how do you decide on that, like which course to be highlighted for students, so that students can know about that course and come to the college?
Rahulji, I would like to share it with you that we are working as a government aided college. That means we are affiliated to Kurukshetra University. We are funded by the government of Haryana. So we work upon the curriculum decided by the university and the government of Haryana. The courses that we have been allotted are that is BA, BCom, BSc non-medical, BSc computer science. Besides that, we have two more courses at post-graduation level. We are imparting education at post-graduation level in English. And 2-3 years back, we decided, we started a diploma course in yoga, PG diploma in yoga. So the priorities are set by the curriculum design of the university. And to supplement and to add that curriculum, we prepare our own academic calendar. We supplement the activities decided by the university and the government. We have always ready calendar for the activities of the whole year. And we keep planning and executing those activities throughout the year.
So, sir, college students for coming from outside and from different backgrounds, there must be different students from different backgrounds coming to the college. So, what are the safety provisions and other facilities that are provided to them to support?
I would love to answer this question. Actually, we have a very good management which is running this college. That is Markanda National College Trust, which runs this college. And their one sentence guideline for me is nobody should be deprived of education for the want of money. For the want of money. That is the instruction of our management to me from day one. And they stick to this in letter and spirit. They follow it. Any student who comes from a poor family, one who says that I cannot afford education, our management provides education free of cost. Our management is providing special scholarships to girls students, to all the girl students, because initially it was a boys' college and then it was turned into a co-educational college. So we decided to promote the education for girls, and it is written in our vision and mission document also. I would like to read out from that. To educate the girls of this semi-urban area at a very low cost and in a very dignified and secure atmosphere. We provide scholarship to all the girl students. We ensure their safety, and we also try to ensure that no one is taken any disadvantage of. So we provide all the scholarship schemes that are being given by the government. For example, SC students are those who are eligible for scholarship, who fulfill the conditions of the government scholarship. They are given scholarship by the government. The college becomes a medium for that. We collect their applications and send them to the government. In the same way, students from backward caste categories, students from minority communities, students belonging to freedom fighter categories, students from physically challenged categories, all these categories are catered to. And in teaching also, we have a special plan for teaching our advanced learners and slow learners. Advanced learners are taken care of separately. Special classes, special notes are arranged for them. In these days, links of very good YouTube lectures or other online lectures are shared with them. And for slow learners, extra classes are arranged. They are given special classes so that they are able to clear their exams. So we take care of all the categories. Students coming from different social backgrounds, economic backgrounds, or different gender. All these things are taken into consideration.
And so, what the facilities are students getting or opportunities in terms of their job placements and internships? Is college helping them around these stuffs?
Yes, we have a placement cell in our college, which is actually most of our courses are up to graduation level. And I believe students don't stop at graduation level. Their desire is to move to higher courses after that. Still, we try our level best to prepare them for the job market. We arrange soft skill classes for them, personality development classes for them. We organize special interview classes for them. Most of the time, it is preparing them for the higher education, preparing them for the job market, and making them aware of the job avenues that are available in the market after they complete their courses. So we have a very active placement cell, but the placements in concrete terms are possible once they complete their education, which is not completed at graduation level. Most of the students who complete their graduation from our college go for higher education, so post-graduation or even MPhil or that.
So since like you have a very busy schedule, so how do you make yourself available to the students to help them, or if anybody wants assistance or guidance from you? So how do you cater to these situations?
I think for a teacher or for a principal administrator, the top priority is the students. This is what I think everyone believes, and I too strongly believe it. I remain available to my students throughout the day in my office, and you would be happy to know that I am available to all my students on my telephone also. I have shared my phone number is available through our website, through our book of information, through our office, through our brochures. My phone number is available to our students. They keep coming to me. There is no restriction, though there are no fixed time hours. They can come to me. They keep coming to me, and I enjoy talking to them. I enjoy resolving their issues, even if they are personal, even if they are some related to their personal problems, their education problems, their society problems, whatever. I deem it as our prime duty that we should be available to our students. I ensure that I should be available, and I think that students must be happy that their principal is always available.
Awesome.
And when one thing more I would like to add, whenever there are extra activities being organized, I ensure that I remain present there. Whether it's a cultural activity, whether it is NSS camp, whether it is a sports activity, I remain present there, and there also students get opportunity to communicate with me. I do get into touch with them directly.
Sure, sir. So when you came to this college, you must have some vision for this college. So how far you have implemented that vision, and what are your future goals about this college?
Yes, when I joined this college, I had an image of this college that it's a sort of rural college. Students mostly from rural areas come to this college. And I wanted that this being a rural college or students from rural college should not be a stigma. Over the years, over the time that I have spent in this college, I have tried to change this perception that being from belonging to a rural area or being situated in a rural area doesn't make any difference in present global times. With the help of technology, with the help of resources, and Above all, with the mental infrastructure. If you have ready mental infrastructure, you can do wonders in every field. So I have tried to make my faculty, my staff members, my students, make them realize that we are in no way lesser than the people who are teaching or studying in big cities and cosmopolitan areas, because during these 5 years we have organized all such kinds of activities which are possible in Delhi University, say Mumbai University, and we always feel that we are as good as they are, and that is the sort of feeling that I have tried to develop in my students. And students come back to me, the students who belong to Shahbaz, sometimes they go to Ambala, sometimes they go to Chandigarh for their education, and they come back to me and say that our college is much better than the colleges there, because we organize a large number of activities. I would like to share it with you that in our college, every Saturday is an activity day. There is no Saturday when we don't organize an activity. Another thing, every Saturday there is a mentorship class in our college. I believe mentoring the students, mentorship is equally important, or rather more important than teaching these days. Teaching materials are easily available through Google, through internet. Students can do with that. But mentoring them, guiding them, motivating them, that is very essential component of teaching these days. And I'm proud to say that my college has been maintaining this mentoring trend for the last 4 years in a very beautiful way, which was appreciated by the NAC peer team also, which visited our college in 2019.
Sure, so coming on to this, that we in India are following a different education system from foreign countries. So how do you rate India's education system or compare from foreign countries? Are we doing better, or we have to change our education system a little to fall in line?
Of course, our system of education is different from the education system abroad. Too much of focus is given to rote learning, cramming things, memorizing things in our system. Examination system becomes a sort of burden for the student. In foreign countries, the system is different in the way they give more focus to assignments, presentations, two-way learning. And I believe that our system should also change according to the foreign system. And the university has already started working on that. We are also introducing continuously this giving assignments, presenting seminars, and even the teaching in the classrooms has started to change. Particularly during the last 2-3 years, when I joined service way back in 1988, it used to be one-way communication. Teacher used to come to the class, delivering lectures. Students were just listening. But now the things are changing. It is two-way communication now. We have shifted to communicative teaching, and with the coming of this online education, this system has progressed rapidly, very quickly. The students are coming with their queries. Students are interacting with the teachers. They are being given tasks, weekly tasks. That is what happens in foreign countries. You teach a lesson to the students in the first 4 days, and then they're given a task individually or collectively. Sometimes one student is asked to prepare an assignment on that task, and sometimes a group of 3 or 4 students is made and they are asked to work on that. And the examinations are also divided into small syllabi pattern. Not that you start memorizing the whole book for the year, and at the end of the year there is an exam. Now the things are changing, and I think it's a change for the better. And I think that India is progressing on the right track in our education system.
So any insights on for the current youth?
These are times of transition actually. With the COVID-19 period, the teaching learning system has transformed greatly from physical classroom to this virtual classroom. the method that we are also communicating in.
Yes, sir.
Adjusting to this system is a challenge not only for the teachers but also for the students. There is apprehension that some of the students may not be able to remain focused in this system. That is what we are seeing these days, because our students were used to memorizing things and then converting that learning into written papers. Things are changing now. Students have to remain alert to that if they don't focus on their study properly the way they used to earlier in the real classroom, they may become losers, they may remain behind. And one thing that has always been true is the hard work, spirit of hard work. Whatever the system may change according to the atmosphere, according to the requirements, whether it was offline or whether it is online. Hard work is the key to success. They need to remain focused. Students should always know their strengths and weaknesses. And on the basis of their strengths and weaknesses, they should decide their goal. Once they have decided their goal, with hard work and only hard work, they should try to attain that goal. Planning and implementation of that planning is the key to success. There are no shortcuts. Students these days try to look out for shortcuts, but I wish to tell them from my own experience that shortcuts will cut them short. They will not be able to rise higher and higher in their lives, which should be their aim. So they should devote themselves wholly to their education, which is the prime duty of a student. And at the same time, they should try to keep themselves engaged in all kinds of extra activities also, because it is not only the bookish education that is going to pay them. Their personality, their way of communication, their manners, their life skills, all these things are very important from education point of view. And it is the school level or college level or university level.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much for giving us your busy schedule and sharing your experience with the students.
I would like to thank your channel also, that is College Dunia, which is doing a wonderful job as a review platform in the field of education. Because earlier the students used to go to the institutions of their area only. Since the things have become online, since things have become global, students keep focusing on choosing institutions of their choice. And in such a world, platform like yours, College Dunia, is doing a wonderful job. I would like to thank on my personal behalf, on behalf of my college also, that you have given me an opportunity to communicate with the students. And in this way, I wish to thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your kind words. Hope that students will find some help from this video and maximize the use of this video.